great big moose.
There was a great big moose.
He liked to drink a lot of juice.
He liked to drink a lot of
There
juice.
was a great big moose.
There was a great big
He
moose.
liked to drink a lot of juice.
He liked to drink a lot of juice.
Singing way oh way oh.
Singing way
Way
oh way oh.
oh way oh way oh.
Way oh way oh way oh.
Way oh.
Way oh way oh.
Way oh way oh way oh way oh.
Way oh way oh way oh.
The moose's name was Fred.
The moose's name was Fred.
He liked to drink his juice in bed.
He liked to drink his juice in bed.
His name was Fred.
The moose's name was
He
Fred.
liked to drink his juice in bed.
He liked to drink his juice in bed.
Singing way oh way oh.
Singing way oh way oh.
Way oh way oh way oh.
Way oh way oh way oh.
Way oh way oh.
Way oh way oh.
Way oh way oh way oh.
Way oh way oh way
He
oh.
drank his juice with care.
He drank his juice with care.
But he spilled some in his hair.
But he spilled some in his
He
hair.
drank his juice with care.
He drank his juice with
But
care.
he spilled some in his hair.
But he spilled some in his hair.
Singing way oh way oh.
Singing way oh way oh.
Way oh way oh way oh.
Way oh way oh way oh way oh.
Way oh way oh.
Way oh way oh.
Way oh way oh way oh.
Way oh way oh way oh way
Now
oh.
he's a sticky moose.
Now he's a stinky moose.
On the loose.
On the
Full
loose.
of juice.
Full of juice.
Singing way oh way oh.
Singing way oh way oh.
Way oh way oh way oh.
Way oh way oh way oh way oh.
Way oh way oh.
Way oh way oh.
Way oh way oh way oh.
Way oh way oh way oh way oh. Woo.
This week in camping news.
And now to Diane. with the weather.
Okay, campers, I hope that you are revved and ready for a warm week. Currently, it's only 19 degrees, feels like 18. Skies are clear, coming in for a great camping weather. Where are my maps?
Thanks for
Okay,
that.
so as we wait for the
And now,
maps.
Carrie with sports.
Sports are canceled. Back to you, Eric.
Thank
Good news stories with Eve. Tell us about a good news story.
today.
Then he learned to roll over.
Now for local news with Rowan.
People can walk on the streets now safely.
Okay, I think Aaron's live on scene at something.
At staying
Aaron's
home.
live at scene at
These countries all have coronavirus.
Great report.
Thank you, Sandra, with international affairs.
Thank you.
I finally loaded up my weather.
And now back to Diane with actual weather.
Thank you, Eric. Now, here we're coming in. Look, the next 36 hours looking really nice. It's only going to go down to 11, and then tomorrow we can expect some sunny skies. Thank you. Don't forget your sunblock, kids. Swaying on a boat.
Target acquired.
Target acquired.
Target acquired.
Target acquired. Target acquired.
Great.
Great. Great.
Great. Great.
Load missile number one.
Load missile number one.
Load missile number one.
Load missile number one. Load missile number one.
Missile number one is loaded.
Missile number one is loaded. Missile number one is loaded.
Missile number one is loaded.
Missile number one is loaded.
Fire missile number one.
Fire missile number one.
Fire missile number one.
Fire missile number one. Fire missile number one.
Missile number one fired.
Missile number one fired. Missile number one fired.
Missile number one fired.
Missile number one fired.
Miss.
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 Miss. Miss.
Darn.
Darn. Darn.
Darn.
Darn.
Load missile number 2.
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 Missile number 2 loaded.
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 Fire missile number 2.
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 Missile number 2 is fired.
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 Miss.
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 We'll get him next time.
We'll get him next time.
Get him next time.
We'll get him next time.
We'll get him next time.
Load missile number 3.
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 Missile number 3 loaded.
Missile number 3 is loaded.
Missile number 3 loaded.
Missile number 3 loaded.
Missile number 3 loaded.
Fire missile number 3.
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 Missile number 3 is fired.
Missile number 3 is fired.
Missile number 3 is fired.
Missile number 3 fired.
Missile number 3 is fired.
Hit.
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 Yay!
Yay!
We sang a row.
Rowboat.
We sang
a
Rowboat.
Rowboat.
We
Rowboat.
sang a row.
Hello all. In this segment, we are celebrating Camping Sunday. Many of our best and most treasured memories come from our experiences camping. Roasting marshmallows, singing camp songs, sleeping in tents or cabins, forming special bonds with camp friends, playing games, staying up late, learning how to swim or canoe, counting bug bites, stargazing, and so much more. In short, camp changes lives. So in this special Camping Sunday, I invite you to set aside your worries and your busy thoughts and come back to a simple time to join me and some of the Trinity's youth and young adults around a campfire of our imaginations.
About camping, like what's like one of your best memories about camping?
It's the stars.
Ooh.
Because there is always so many more stars out at camp or when you're camping than there is anywhere else. So to see the lights, and then to see the lights on Ville Marie when you were out at Camp Lorraine every night, that was really nice.
I have this memory at Camp Lorraine when I was a kid, like I was maybe like 7, and I was homesick and I was crying, and my counselor took me out onto the porch and she was like, "Oh, do you see all those lights across the lake there? Like that's Ville Marie." And so I knew you were getting homesick, so I called over and I asked them to turn a bunch of lights on for you.
You've used that on kids. You told that story to kids before when you were a counselor as well, right?
Yeah, and then when I became a counselor, I would tell kids that, so it was pretty cute.
My favorite part are the campfires.
Me too, yeah.
I like the s'mores and the marshmallows. They're pretty good.
I just like being at campfire and singing camp songs at nighttime.
This is a repeat after me song. I said a boom chicka boom.
I said a boom, chicka boom.
I said a boom chicka boom.
I said a boom, chicka boom.
I said a boom chicka rocka chicka boom.
I said a boom, chicka rocka chicka boom.
I said all right.
I said all right.
I said okay.
I said okay.
I said one more time.
I said one more time.
I said a boom chicka boom.
I said a boom, chicka boom.
I said a boom chicka boom.
I said a boom, chicka boom.
I said a boom chicka rocka chicka boom. I said all right.
I said all right.
I said okay.
I said okay.
I said one more time.
I said one more time.
Janitor style.
Janitor
I said a broom sweep a broom.
I said a broom, sweep a broom.
I said a broom sweep a broom.
I said a broom, sweep a broom.
I said a broom sweep a mop a sweep a mop a sweep a broom.
I said a broom, sweep a mop a sweep a mop
I
a
said
sweep a broom.
all right.
I said all right.
I said okay.
I said okay.
I said one more time.
I said one more time.
Bring me my royal paper.
Right away.
Your Majesty.
Oh, yeah, here's Majesty paper.
Oh, right away, Your Majesty.
Quick!
Oh, yes, Your Majesty.
This is not my royal paper. Bring me my royal paper.
The royal paper for the Majesty.
This royal paper?
Here you go, Your Majesty.
Quickly, quickly.
This is not my royal paper. Bring me my royal paper.
Right away.
Coming right up, Your Majesty.
Here you go.
Here you go, Your Majesty.
Oh,
Thank you.
So did every single one of you go to Camp Lorraine at one point?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah.
Then that first year, they put me and Sandra in the same cabin. I was in the older people's cabin, but then they were afraid that Sandra was going to get homesick, so I slept in her cabin. It turns out I was the one that got homesick in the cabin full of all the children.
Tell me something that you learned at camp.
I learned what poison ivy looks like.
An actual skill that I learned at camp was canoeing. I've never canoed anywhere except for Camp Lorraine. And I remember I was a kid, like I was like 8 maybe, and I was in the canoe with Wayne. He's like, "You're a strong paddler, you can steer." I'm like, "Why are you making me steer? Like I'm in the grown-ups canoe." But he was like, "No, you can do it. Like you can do it." And I think I consider myself a pretty good canoeer now. So thanks, Wayne.
I learned what heat stroke looked like in real life, but that, which is a life skill that I've only used at Camp Lorraine.
Thank you, Diane, Sandra, Carrie, Eric, Rowan, Aaron, and Eve for reminding us how special camp is. Friends, take the warmth and light represented by this campfire of our imagination into your lives. Take the warmth and light of God's love into your lives as well. May the fun and faith of church camps reside in your mind and heart and sustain you until we can once again gather around a real campfire. Now let us join together with the Sunday school children in praying the words that Jesus taught us to pray.